The members of the committee, we're going to have one witness regarding the smart meter issue. The remainder of the time is going to be a presentation by the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, just a backgrounder, free market perspective on energy policy. I do not mean to embarrass Kathy or Consumers Energy, but I thought it was extremely ironic that on Saturday my smart meter failed and it got down to 54 degrees in the house, and a tech came out and replaced it with an analog meter. So I just thought, I texted Kathy and said, "You guys aren't messing with me, are you?" But they got out there as quickly, within several hours of them calling, and it's not back to a nice and toasty 71 now. So appreciate that, Kathy, and your personal attention to that matter. We'll have Richard Meltzer, and Mr. Meltzer was unable to testify last week, but had some testimony that I looked at that I thought was relevant. Come on up, Richard. Relevant to the question of cost shifting, which I know has been of concern to members of the committee. I'm not a math major, wasn't a math major, but I think I mentioned last week that it put the calculator to the question of cost shifting and calculated out that if in fact that cost shift exists, that it would amount to 74 cents per year for those who have smart meters, quote unquote, subsidizing the expense of those who don't. However, if you take consumers, for example, just consumers, $750 million rollout to do smart meters divided by their $1.8 million customers, that comes out to a total of $466 per person over a 5-year phase-in period, about $84 a year, which means the people who don't have smart meters are paying $84 to subsidize the people who do. So if there's a cost shift involved, it's 74 cents one way, $84 the other way, at least by a layman's application of math and logic. But Mr. Meltzer, if you would take 5 minutes, give us some testimony, we'd appreciate it. And we also, as soon as Mr. Meltzer is finished, my intention today is to adopt a substitute, the primary purpose of which is to take water meters out of this particular bill. They'll be put in a separate bill, but because the bill 4220 deals with entities that are regulated by the Public Service Commission, it was not my intent as the sponsor to put the municipal water utilities under the purview of the Public Service Commission. So that'll be taken out. That's the biggest change in the substitute. For those of you who are first termers, this is simply a procedural vote. It simply means that from this day forward, 4220 will be the new language. It is not a vote to pass the bill. We'll continue to work with members on changes they think necessary over the next several weeks. We're not going to have a vote today on passage of the bill. But Mr. Meltzer, if you would proceed, please.
Check. Can I be heard?
I believe so. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before the committee today. I am here to support Representative Glenn's bill, H.R. 4220. Regarding my background, I am a retired PhD researcher who has studied the effects of microwaves, like the radio frequencies emitted by smart meters, on brain tissue. Leveraging my proficient computer and statistical skills, I later focused my career on advanced technology and data analysis and mining. I've held senior positions both in academia and in the corporate world, and I've been a management consultant and done work for the Department of Energy and had security clearance granting access to nuclear weapons facilities. Lastly, I've been a participant in several cases before the Michigan Public Service Commission and believe I can speak to both the biomedical and technological aspects of smart meters. I'd like to address the issue of cost recovery as it pertains to DTE's opt-out fees. First, in MPSC case U17053, DTE testified under oath there is no distinction between an AMI smart meter with its transmitter disabled and an analog meter. And under oath, they also acknowledged there is no mandate in Michigan law that requires the AMI meter to be installed. Incidentally, I sent copies or had copies distributed to the committee members, and all the references are in there, so you can check the authenticity of my claims. In DTE's punitive opt-out plan, customers have to pay an extra charge and yet are saddled with the very meter they are trying to avoid. A smart meter still has electronic characteristics that are disruptive to electromagnetic sensitive individuals, even with the transmitter off. Allowing a customer to retain their current analog meter actually saves the expense of the new meter as well as the labor cost to install it. Allowing homeowners to report their own meter readings, like we did years ago, perhaps qualified by creditworthiness and occasional audit, and secured with a cash deposit or credit card, saves much of the meter reader cost. DTE is quick to pass incurred expenses along to a special class of customers, but when there's opportunity to have those same customers save DTE money by not requiring the cost of a new meter, DTE defers. Apparently, DTE picks and chooses when to absorb various business expenses. Also note that U17053 established a projected customer opt-out rate of a meager 0.2%. Many businesses in a competitive environment absorb such minor expenses as a cost of doing business, especially companies that place a high value on customer satisfaction. But DTE does not operate in a competitive environment and does not fear losing customers. And where is the concern for DTE's added expense resulting from additional highly paid cybersecurity staff necessary to protect those computerized smart meters? And why should opt-outers share that cost burden? And what are the replacement costs for the considerably shorter lifespan of an AMI meter? And what of apartment and condominium residents with RF sensitivities and other medical conditions who live close to a large cluster of smart meters? Turning off one transmitter of, say, 36 AMI meters will do little to alter their exposure to RF. For them, opt-out fees represent payment for a worthless service. In a case contesting the MPSC's past opt-out decision, Judge Peter O'Connell of the Michigan Court of Appeals stated, quote, "The opt-outers receive no benefit from the AMI smart meter program and must actually pay to be excluded from it. But the opt-outer must also share in the costs of the program because of the increase to the base rate. I cannot discern the reason to penalize those individuals that choose not to be associated with the AMI program." And there are others who share this view, including Attorney General Bill Schuette, quoting him, "Customers will be required to pay rates covering both the costs of the smart meter program and incremental costs of retaining traditional meters. An opt-out program that requires customers to pay an unwarranted economic penalty for doing so does not afford customers a meaningful choice." And utility companies' comments suggest they intend to effectively penalize customers who choose to opt out. And in the MPSC rate case, when asked if,
Mr. Meltzer, that last paragraph you read were the words of Attorney General Schuette?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And
Thank
I
you.
have the citation there in the printout.
Thank you.
And in the MPSC rate case, when asked if, quote, "the cost impacts associated with the AMI investment, property taxes, depreciation, etc., are charged across the board to all ratepayers, whether or not they are opt-out customers," unquote, DTE's AMI manager answered yes. And the testimony of DTE's Director of Tax Operations also confirmed this expense was shared by all ratepayers alike. Again, we see that utility companies' cost focus is quite arbitrary, suggesting a self-serving and punitive motive. So in conclusion, we turn to our legislators to provide the relief in this matter that has only been met with indifference at the MPSC, despite numerous complaints and now 49 municipal resolutions. We simply want to exercise our freedom of choice regarding the technology that is placed on our property. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Meltzer. Any questions?
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Chairman, and the rest of the group here. I'm actually a little shocked that I am here speaking. I've been here on several occasions, and I'm actually quite pleased to be in the room because on the other occasions I was here, I was in the overflow room. So I'm I'm elated to be here to speak, but I'm a little disappointed that there weren't more people on behalf of concerned citizens that are present here to speak about HB 4220. I will provide my particular testimony in the hopes that it'll give you a glimpse of what several other people have expressed to me as well. Again, I'm Sheila Pomeransky from Shelby Township, Michigan, and basically I am here to encourage you to support HB 4220, although it's being rewritten to exclude the water utilities. On behalf of your constituents, it is my understanding that this bill would allow utility customers the choice on the type of equipment that is used to measure their utility usage. My husband and myself are strong advocates for the use of the analog meters as opposed to the mandated advanced metering devices. We have deep concerns over the advanced metering devices and their health implications. There are people out there, stranded populations, if you will, who are looking for safe havens, who are impacted by these meters. Personally, after recovering from a very grave cancer diagnosis, we have learned much about the types of influences that can have significant health implications. Excuse me. Including those contributing to a cancer diagnosis, which is a disturbance in cellular function. It is well documented that radio frequency radiation or microwave radiation operates at levels that are harmful to the functioning of our cells. Our bodies communicate through electromagnetic and chemical signals. So the advanced metering devices and where they fall on the electromagnetic spectrum truly does matter. It is extremely important that our homes, at a minimum, are a safe haven from any harmful devices, especially to those that have not chosen to install them on our homes. For some people, the effects of the advanced metering devices and the emitting radiation can be felt immediately. For others, it may show up as significant health challenges that are not so readily identifiable over time from being over inundated by the pulsed and spiked radiation frequencies. So who is at risk? You are at risk. Your children and your grandchildren are even at a greater risk, and the community as a whole is at risk for significant health problems in the very near future. I am asking that you simply give your constituents a choice on the metering devices installed on their homes. We need your help in preserving the rights in the state of Michigan, as many other states have, and ask you to support HB 4220. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Ms. Pomeransky, thank you very much for your testimony. Are there questions from the committee? And, oh, you're fine. Thank you. And Janine Deal. Is Janine still here? Janine, you've got about 3-4 minutes at the most before we're going to adjourn at 10:25. Please proceed.
Honorable Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. Those of us who support House Bill 4220 are not asking for anything new or special. We are simply asking for a continuation of a system of utility metering that has been in place for literally decades, lifetimes. A system that has withstood the test of time, that does not pose privacy or cybersecurity risks. A system that never posed an increased risk of fires, and a system that never exposed us to a possible human carcinogen. Smart and electronic metering will never be as safe and secure as analog meters. Analog meters represent a line of demarcation between a utility company and a customer. A utility company has absolutely no business knowing anything beyond how much of their service we use, so they can bill us accurately. Imagine going to a gas station to fill up your gas tank, but being required to attach a device to your vehicle that not only shows, but records in granulated data, not only how fast you drive, but where you go, when you go there, and how long you stay. Analog public utility meters have withstood the test of time for privacy, fire safety, security, and no issues regarding adverse health effects. They last about twice as long or more as the new electronic metering technology. And the truth is that some utility companies have not given us full disclosure regarding their smart and electronic metering technology. If you don't know where the concept full disclosure comes from, perhaps it would be wise to research it prior to voting on House Bill 4220, especially if you are in opposition. And then please support Analog Choice for the people of Michigan with no extra extortion fees. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dill. Any questions from the committee?